Luigi Mangione pleads guilty. Let's talk about it, man. What up? It's your boy Phil Risden. Welcome back to the channel. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. It has been a wild day or two for anybody who actually cares about this country and actually wants the people of America to have the things that they deserve. And the reason it's been so hard is obviously because of Luigi Mangione, poster child for healthcare equality, now pleading guilty to a litany of charges. So let's really talk about this, man, and how at first I was angry, just like how a lot of you guys are. But the more I read about this, the more I'm starting to think that this might have been a smarter idea for him. Less of a spectacle for us, but smarter idea for him. And let's talk about the charges. So, of course, you have the state charges, which is second degree murder, as well as forging a fraudulent weapon, as well as being in possession of a fraudulent weapon. So, of course, there is the incident with Brian Thompson. We all know he created the weapon that did that, and he also had the weapon when they found him. So that's what that's about. What's crazy here, though, is that federally, he's only essentially been charged for 2 counts of stalking, interstate stalking, as well as I think stalking in pursuit, which led to violence, some long name like that, and essentially just following the guy around. And it turns out that's what he pled guilty to. In the news, they're kind of treating it as if he pled guilty to the second degree murder as well as the weapons charges. And why I think this might be a good idea for Luigi Mangione is because now his attorneys are allegedly trying to get the charges for state dismissed. That is right. They are trying to get the second degree and the possession charges dismissed, which is a very, very great idea because obviously we know that this whole entire case happened in New York City of all places, a place where you are not supposed to have weapons like that. You're not supposed to have a gun. You're not supposed to have a 3D printed one either. You're not supposed to have a makeshift one. Okay. They will throw the book at you just for that. If you have a gun that is not registered personally to you, and it's been used in some sort of violent act, you can go away for decades in New York City. That is just how it is. It comes from the old mafia days where they kind of started a zero tolerance policy as far as gun ownership, right? On top of that, obviously, second degree murder is a massive charge as well, too, that can, basically result in football numbers. Stalking, on the other hand, not so much. Not so much. Those things are very, very malleable. I don't really know the state law in New York as far as if it has a limit to how much you can be charged, like a maximum 9 years, maximum of 10 years. But stalking is a very, very malleable thing. As a guy who has a lot of female friends, women get stalked all the time, and for every time that they press charges on guys, these things don't always lead to jail time. Obviously, this led to a heinous act of violence that I do not condone. So even if he was pled guilty to those stalking charges, they're probably going to give him the maximum of that. But if you know how jail time works, how prison time works, most people don't serve 100% of the time that they're sentenced to. So let's say he gets 10 years on the stalking charges, right? They're run consecutively, which means he gets 10 and 10, right? He's not staying there for 20 years. He's staying there for 10 years and running both of those charges at the same time, okay? And on top of that, like I said, they don't serve the max, so he could be out in 7, maybe even 6, especially with good behavior and if he's allowed parole for those things. So when I look into it, this actually is a smarter idea from his legal team. I know us, us leftists, and honestly, this is more of a bipartisan admiration for the guy. Any normal, red-blooded American that thinks that either universal health care should exist or that these insurance companies are predatory. We all wanted to see some big trial like the OJ trial, right? And we all watch it and we write folk songs about the guy, about, you know, how he's the real Robin Hood and all that, but we're not getting that. But that does mean that he could possibly end up getting a lighter sentence, which I think is the better benefit of this. You know, as much as we want to rally behind the guy and have it be a legal spectacle, and I want to create videos about that legal spectacle, he is somebody that, you know, even though Luigi did, by his own admission, stalk this person, which led to a violent incident. You know, we know why that violent incident occurred. We've all had people within our families that have dealt with certain issues that have made us maybe want to feel like taking justice into our own hands as well too. So I don't think he should be punished in the same way that somebody who just randomly does a violent act that results in death gets punished, you know. And that's just me. But I think that I'm not the only one who thinks that way. So to hear that from his legal team, that basically they're trying to get these murder charges dismissed and these weapon charges dismissed, this is actually a huge win for him. It just doesn't seem like it. It seems a lot more salacious, but in a way, I think that could actually be a great thing because, you know, the corporations, they want their pound of flesh. And if their pound of flesh is just slandering him in the headlines, but he gets out of jail in under 10 years or maybe even under 20, I still count that as a huge W for my guy, Luigi. But let me know what you guys think about this whole case. Do you think he's actually smart for doing this now because of everything that I presented you? Or do you think he should have just went for broke and saw if he could get off for the whole thing? Because they were actually dismissing a lot of evidence as well, too. So, you know, I think there's a good argument for any of these things. And just let me know what you think about this guy in general and what he did and the state of healthcare in our country. Also, you guys, I have a YouTube video that I put out a few months ago where I went to the San Gennaro festival in Little Italy and asked Italians personally how I felt about Luigi Mangione. So make sure to check that video out as well. But either way, you know, I wish you guys all the best. And, you know, this healthcare fight is a long fight. Let's stay strong and let's support each other. That's the video. I'll see you guys later. Peace.